What is up, people? It is Dave, it is Duncan, back from Metal Epidemic for another album review. For this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the new album from Swiss post-metal band Zatokrev. The band's new album, Bring Mirrors to the Surface, will be released on August 29th via Pelagic Records. Brought into being in 2002 on the shores of the Rhine and in the shadow of the Alps, Basel-based Zatokrev have forged their distinctive musical pathway into an unmistakable vigour all of their own. Allowing for inspiration from every imaginable summit and chasm of extreme music, as well as the most esoteric of folk and true global soul, Zatokrev have crafted an amalgamation of forever evolving vibrational energy. I just remembered Lisa wrote this press release, so there's going to be a point where I fuck this up.
Yeah, that's like the one thing you can guarantee when Lisa spends an inordinate amount of time crafting, like, genuinely some of the best PR that I never read.
Yeah.
My interpretation of what Lisa's written is delivered through Dave's voice, right? Which means inevitably I'll think it's stupid PR, and that's not on Lisa. That's because Dave gets to a certain point where he's like, what? Like, it's inevitable,
It's
right?
So
it will happen, and I'm going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy the bit where the wheels come off.
And now in 2025, after all the detritus of pain, time, and letting go has been slogged through, we see Zatokrev return with a piece only classifiable as magical. Bring Mirrors to the Surface obliterates the past and conjures a future previously unimagined. Winding serpentine through the rivers of consciousness, screaming from the top of the mountain, pleading with humanity to remember the power of the will and the imagination. Our new album, completed in 2022, reflects a time of profound change and resilience.
Just going to leave it here for a while. Right? Like a bottle of wine, we're just going to leave it here and mature a few years before we put it out.
It's a testament to how challenges were overcome and new beginnings were embraced, both personally and creatively, says guitarist and vocalist Freddie Rotter. The fact that the new album is only released 3 years later is due in no small part to the overcoming of serious life challenges and profound changes.
Could have told me that before I made a joke. Could have told me that before I made a cunt of myself. Right? Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
This is why you should read the PR, Duncan.
Right under the bus. The new album is the follow-up to the previous album, Silk Spiders Underwater, where the story began. Now, Bring Mirrors to the Surface tells the story to its conclusion. An album in which to truly lose oneself, these songs provide a candle in the dark, an arcane map providing directions to the tearing down and the painful realising as a means to a metaphysical freedom. A beauty unmatched in any previous Zatokrev material that has become entrenched in every aspect of this record. Moments of comfort flow freely into the deafening sounds of paradigmatic shifts. Almost fucked me up there, Lisa. Bring Mirrors to the Surface encourages one and all to stare into the abyss of the self and to do something about it. The soundtrack to take action now exists. Zatokrev have given us more musical grimoire. Grimoire, is that right?
Very grimoire.
Sounds heard through the ages have congregated into a unique moment in time, and the world will now be fortunate enough to experience it. The album was produced by the band and Simon Jameson, who has worked with the band on previous releases. All right, so
You've ever seen someone so relieved to get through a PR? Honestly.
Oh god, the fear kicked in when I started reading it. I thought, oh no. Fuck.
There are words here I've never seen before.
Here we go. So from what I could see online, kind of researching a bit about the band in the last 10 years, it seems like they've been through a bit of a rough time as a band, and kind of struggled to move forward. There have been some personnel changes. They went through periods where they didn't even talk to each other for months on end, and pretty much questioned whether this band was even going to continue. But once they reconnected and almost realized, they have to continue this journey, not just as musicians, but as friends. That kind of love of creating music has really kind of just brought them back together. And there may have been 10 years between the last album and this one, but I think producing quality material and something that you are really happy with can, for some bands, it can be a really long process.
I'm trying to think, what was the name of the post-metal band that we reviewed, and it was a decade between releases? What was it, Earth something?
Oh yeah.
Which they better have an album coming out soon. But that like when we like you were listening and you were like fucking like they haven't missed a, or even something to an extent like Genghis Tron where there's a huge chasm of time between releases. Like before you kind of like lean into your thoughts, so we're saying we reviewed a Zatokrev album on the old site, which was back in 2012.
That's right.
And that was essentially 2 albums before this one. And I while you were chatting, I was like that. I need to get the name of this because all I remember was there was a bat on the front cover.
The bat and the wheel,
Yeah, the bat and the wheel and the long road to nowhere.
That's right.
And I really wish I'd went back to listen to it before this review because, and you'll be able to fill in the blanks because you do your due diligence. I don't. Before I hit play on this one, I was bracing myself for the most abrasive heavy doom ever, and it kicked in. I was like, this is really well produced. Like, because I just remember the old one just being like 2 seconds, like a ball hair away from being in the red at all times. And like not as measured as this.
Yeah, their early stuff, like if you go back to like, I think it's like a self-titled album, which was right near the start, like that stuff was fucking corrosive and just ugly as fuck. And the productions have like gradually got better, but even like between the 2015 album and this one, there is a noticeable kind of jump in terms of the production and stuff. And it's like they don't play a style of music that you can really rush. Like it's not like chuck these riffs together and let's record an album. It's not that type of album.
This album is comfortably over an hour. Like it's not like just a bit like this one is comfortably over. Yeah,
and I also get the feeling they are kind of like real perfectionists. Like I feel like they really care about the detail and in their songwriting and how an album evolves over its kind of runtime. This is over an hour like 5 minutes or so, but I could tell on the first listen to this, I was like, this is going to be good. Like I could tell like this was going to be a great album, and it was only going to be one of those albums that got better on every listen that you gave it.
When Red Storm, the opening track, which is almost 10 minutes long, finished, I was giddy.
Yeah,
because I'll tell you when the first track come up and I was like, it's almost 10 minutes long. Here's the time, like that, and it got to the end and I was like, I have the time, like I have all the time in the world for this. Give me all of this. And it did not disappoint from that point onwards.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to blow my own trumpet here, Duncan, but this album gets better every time you hear it.
I mean, it's difficult to blow your own trumpet without removing ribs unless you're incredibly well endowed, Dave, which I will not comment for you.
Okay, thank you for keeping that to yourself. This is they're classing this as like I'm not classing it, but this is a double LP. So this is like vinyl has like 2 discs, so like split over 2 discs, 8 tracks.
You are 2 seconds away from actually showing your erection on this camera. Honestly, like, have you ever seen anyone that get giddy about 2 discs?
2 discs.
Double-sided. 2 sides.
So this is like a proper, like, strap yourself in.
Yeah.
And we're about to take a fucking ride type album. And yeah, this one, for me, it kind of, the deeper you get into this, the more this album reveals itself. And I like when it first kicked in, when Red Storm kicked in, I was like, oh, I'm in my comfort zone. Like I'm just, let it just wash right over me. This fucking dark, fucking brooding sludge, just fucking give me it. And it, like that first track just like drags you down into the pit of hell. It is like a classic monolithic opener.
Do love this idea, like you just going down to your car, like just like finishing your dinner and just going like that. I'm going to be an hour. And then like your wife and your kid looking out the window going, no, he's still sitting in the car. Just like that. With the good headphones on. Just like
back.
It's ours, Davies. Oh.
Yeah. But like this instantly just fills you with dread. This the first track is like, just feel it in your stomach, like the dread, the anxiety. The vocals have got this really just savage tone to them. But they're also adding in these like kind of haunting kind of moments just to add this little bit of clarity to the chaos as well. And I honestly thought like that first track, I was like, Zatokrev, you're setting out your stall early. I know what you're going to do here. I'm all in. Let's give me it. Here we go. And then track 2 kicked in and I was like, all right, okay. Still heavily discordant to begin with. They're starting to shake it up a little bit rhythmically though. It's less like low and slow and a little bit more choppy, like with the sludge and the post-metal. But then like the track kind of starts to turn and it like gives you something a bit more nuanced and the vocals start to get a bit more expansive and then there's a bit of piano comes in and clean guitar and I'm like, holy, what the fuck's going on here? And it takes this like emotional detour on track 2 that I was like not expecting. Like I was like, oh fuck, right, okay, this is not where I thought this was going, but I'm in. Like this is really cool. And then track 3 kicks in, Duggan. The only voice, track 3. So this would be
the only voice, Dave. It's the only voice in the album.
It is. Technically, this would be where you would flip the vinyl onto side 2 of the first disc, because I'm assuming it's 2 tracks per disc.
You would like to think, unless there's just one side that's just one long bastard.
Yeah, maybe.
Like track 8 might just be on one side itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. But I'm assuming with the way this track goes, I'm assuming it's the start of another side.
I think you're safe in your assumption.
Yeah. I did like a what the fuck moment when this track kicked in. I was like, what's going on? Like, what is happening here? Like, this is not what I was expecting. We go into like full-blown post-black metal territory. It's like, it's fast, it's visceral, it has a bit of the Deafheaven about it. And it's like they just like kicked the doors wide open and said, fuck the boundaries. Like, they are no more. We will do whatever the fuck we want. Nothing is off the table here. And it's like, for me, this was like a real moment on the album. Not only does it just like surprise you with the direction that it goes in, but they're incredibly good at it. Like,
oh yeah, it's all in the pocket. Like, what's that? You want something different here?
And it kind of like made me reassess what had come before. I was like, right, I mean, I thought the opening track was great, and then I was like, track 2 like levels up again with the emotion and the melody, and then track 3 is just like on fire at this point. And like, I know, like, I went back and I kind of had a quick listen through some of their previous albums again, just to kind of reacquaint myself. And they have touched on like blackened parts prior to this. On the last album 10 years ago, for example, there were tracks that picked up the pace and included some kind of like more black metal-y influences, but it never went as all in as this. Like, so that was a bit of a surprise. I'm also thinking, like, at 3 tracks in, this album is already shaping up to be better than Silk Spiders Underwater. Like,
you're also thinking 3 albums in, you're kind of a bit spent.
Yeah.
Like, you're like 3 songs in, I was already kind of like going, only a third. Like, so.
Yeah. That track then sets up track 4 perfectly. Unwinding Spirits, where they kind of move into something a bit slower, some more kind of more doomy tendencies. But again, also get really expansive with the melody. So the tracks are very well like kind of paired together to kind of complement and work in conjunction with each other. It's an album that has an incredibly good flow to it. Even though they take you on these like detours of slightly different styles or ideas, whether it be more like post-black orientated or even on like a track like Changes, where they start to kind of lean a little bit more kind of black and death metal almost. Pearl Eyes as well, another track that showed like another side of the band, like touching on something almost kind of grungy and like almost kind of Mantar-esque, but with like a hint of Billy Corgan in the vocals. It was like like just so many surprises on this album. And these are like clear moments on this album where they sound like a band, like almost kind of like shedding skin and like evolving. Like this is a band that are not sitting still. They are moving forward into something even freer sounding, which for me really comes to fruition on the closing track, Deep Dark Turns Green, because that is what a closer. Like, that is how
you close a fucking album, by the way.
Wow. Like, I think it's the longest track.
It It is, yeah, by a couple of minutes.
Yeah, like I'm sure it's over 11 minutes.
It's just over 11 minutes.
Yeah,
so.
Like super expansive. They really lean into the melody on the track as it progresses. You can it kind of comes from a dark place to begin with, and then it develops into something much lighter and more kind of uplifting. I was getting a lot of kind of like almost kind of like proggy kind of character in the vocals, the clean vocals, which I think added quite a nice like kind of vulnerability to it, and those kind of clean parts that came in. I thought it was really clever, like a very, very strong closing track. And when I finished it, I was like, wow, this could be some of the best like songwriting we've heard from Zatokrev so far. Like you mentioned, we've been a fan of this band for a while. We've reviewed albums of theirs in the past. I love that 2012 album, The Bat and the Wheel. Is like, I loved it. I thought it was great.
I landed at the right time. I think that was where I think 2012 was when I like fully accepted that Doom was my jam.
Yeah.
Like I'd never really given it and I remember there was just a wave of these bands like Zach. Remember was it Ahab? There was a band like Ahab who were like just the heaviest fucking thing you tell. Just like a slew of these doom bands all put their own different spins of heaviness on it, and they were all unique sounding within that genre. And Zatokrev stood out because it was just unlike any of the other bands that I'd heard at the time. So like to think that we are now 13 years on from like that release, and they've only released one album in between that. Fucking nuts.
Wow.
It's like almost how like Tool release albums.
Yeah.
So
it's nuts. But I feel like this is definitely like a cliche thing to say, but it's definitely the most mature they've sounded, and most evolved, even in the way they play with the melody on this release. I think the melodic parts are just done so well here. It's like they've created these like moments of grace within the grotesque, almost like a, I don't know how I would describe it, like a flower like growing from a rusty pipe or something like that's what kind of comes to mind. Like just like the way they've paired the two together is fantastic, and the guests as well that they brought in the release also add their own like kind of shade of grief and rage and like transcendence to the tracks they appear on. We've got like Manuel from Zealand Ardor, which is a great choice for a guest like on this album.
Fellow countryman as well, he's Swiss as well. So.
Yeah, perfect choice to give. I think it's Unwinding Spirits he's on. That slow motion kind of implosion of identity, like it just like that track unravels just brilliantly. So like really good choices on that side. It's one of those albums like when I listen to the album again, it's hard to comprehend like how the album closes considering how it started. Like I was like, I loved my first spin of this, but then when you hear the full album, like the first track is actually one of the most straightforward tracks on the album. And like that might sound like I'm being negative, but I'm not. It's very clever because it just makes those style and tone shifts on the album even more impressive. I thought this was fucking great. Like I hope the next release isn't going to be 10 years away, because I feel like this might be the second coming of this band. This is fucking awesome. Like congrats guys, because you've killed it on this release. Loved it. Duncan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, the risk of making this like too long, I'm going to echo a lot of what you say in a more concise way, just to get through this review so people can actually check it out and we're not the length of the album by the end of it. This is absolutely incredible, like front to back incredible. I mentioned at the start when Red Storm finished, I'd questioned before I even hit play if I could be bothered listening to an hour album. The older I get, it's not that I'm opposed to listening to long form releases. I actually really enjoy them.
Yeah.
But it's a commitment of time when I know that this week we had 4 albums we were going to review, and none of them were all particularly long compared to this. But it is like several listens before we do a review. It's a minimum of 3 for me. I listened to this 4 times. So that's 4 hours worth of listening, and amongst a full-time job and all the other stuff that I do. So it's a commitment. Like when I say that's a commitment, it's not, woe is me, like, we got the album for free to review, blah, 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 I'm just saying it, like you have to You have to realize, and knowing what Zatokrev was like in the past, and having not heard them in over a decade, I knew that this wasn't a shove it in the background and work on a spreadsheet. You know, this is have to put the headphones on, have to sit down, have to let myself absorb it. And at the end of the first listen, I like the hairs on my arms were standing up. Like it ends so powerfully. You were like saying about that kind of idea of something grotesque against like something beautiful. It kind of feels like Zatokrev, to kind of take another analogy and take us in a different place, kind of almost feels like that where you have like the ugly forest, it's overgrown, the narrow branches and the twigs and all the rest, and it's ugly to look at, and then it burns down, right? And when it burns down, the green shoots come up, and it just needs an opportunity to clear out all the old, all the stuff that's oppressive and overbearing, in order for these new green shoots of life to come through. And that kind of feels like what Zatokrev's done here. It kind of feels like they have, without dramatically moving like they're sounding in a completely different zone, what they've done is managed to retain the core elements, but start to really expand the soundscape even more than before. You mentioned it before, blackened elements, noise rock, sludge, doom. You've got some kind of blackened elements. You've got grunge on here, a little bit of, like 90s alt. And they've managed to encapsulate it all in the album, sometimes just in individual songs. Yeah. But those individual songs, at the length they are, don't sound so out of place on the album, because the way they flow the introduction from the previous track and the way they bring it out into the next track make it fit. It's a well-told, it's like a South Korean movie narrative. Like when you're sitting down to watch one of those movies, it's 2.5 hours long, and you start off with a comedy, you end up in human tragedy, and by the end it's an action movie, and you're like, and never at one point did I get like genre whiplash listening to, like, watching this. And just this is the same with this here. Their confidence in the composition is just like astounding. And I just felt like the album continued to deliver huge standout moment by huge standout moment, and some of them were dark, some of them were just those moments of soaring melody, just like incredible melody, which I remember Zatokrev having melody. I just can't remember it being as kind of those moments of like pure euphoria. It's remarkable. I think the production on this is absolutely insane. Like, to do what they've done here, to have the heft and the weight and the oomph, but managed to have a track like the only voice that you mentioned before, which like attacks you with a kind of blackened snarl and the kind of noise rock thing, and it sounds kind of thin, but it's not thin that it sounds like it shouldn't be on the album. It works. Everything works here. There's a meticulousness about it. Now, had you said to me in the PR, so we finished recording in 2022, and then they painstakingly spent 3 years mixing and mastering, recomposing and structuring this, that would kind of make sense to me. The fact that it was finished then and they let it lie and then released it 3 years later is mind-blowing. Because it sounds current, it sounds fresh. It's huge in scope. It's a remarkable album. I have my score already picked out. I know we're getting to it, but yes, it is earning of every single point I can give it, and I can't wait to get to it. So let's get to it.
Well, let's do that. Scores for Brings Mirrors to the Surface. For me, this is the best thing this band have done. And I already thought like a lot of their back catalogue was great. It's been a long 10 years though. Like, don't leave it 10 years again, guys, please. No. Like, you're writing like albums like this, you cannot leave us another 10 years, because this is fucking awesome. Like, I don't have anything to say about this that I didn't like. There's no critique, there's no like criticisms here. It's just a fucking killer album. It's a 5 for me. Absolutely loved it. Duncan, what are you thinking?
This is what the 5 was made for. Like, when you're literally sitting there going, that I wouldn't change a millisecond on this. It's absolutely perfect front to back. The band are back in the best possible way, and let me echo what Dave said, let's not wait another 10 years for the next one. I understand that perfection comes with time. but not 10 years, guys. So it's a 5. Easy 5.
Nice. Zatokrev are back August 29th on Pelagic Records. The album drops. Check out the links to the band, the pre-order, one of the singles. Have a listen, see what you think. Happy to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. That is a review. Thank you for checking it out. Much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.